Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sumukascha Yekadantascha Kapilo Gajakarnakaha Lambodharascha Vikato Vignarajo Vinayakaha Dhumaketur Ganadhyakshaha Palachandro Gajananaha Vakratundaha Surpakarno Herambaha Skandapurvajaha Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannabadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopasantaye Yasya Dviradavaktradhya Parishadhya Parasatam Vignam Nignanti Satatam Vishvaksenam Tamasraye Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheswaraha Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyai Stavaihi Vedaihi Sankapada Kramopanishadaihi Gayantiyam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyantiyam Yoginaha Yasyantam na viduhu sura sura ganaha devaya tasmai namaha janmadhyasya yataha anvayat yitaratasya arteshu abhignaha svarat tene brahma hridayaha adikavaye mukhyanti yat surayaha tejovari mridam yatha vinimayo yatrutru sargo mrisha dhamna svena sada nirastha kuhakam satyam param dhimahi Dharmah prochida kaitavotra paramo nirmat saranam satam Vedhyam vastavam atra vastu sivadam tapatrayon moolanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimva Parairisvaraha Sadhyo Hridi Avarudhyatehe Atra Kritibihi Sutrushibihi Tatkshanat Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Palam Sukhamukat Amrta Dravasam Yutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muharaho Rasikaha Bhuvi Bhavukaha Vasudeva Para Veda Vasudeva Para Makaha Vasudeva Para Yoga Vasudeva Para Kriyaha Vasudeva Param Jnanam Vasudeva Param Tapaha Vasudeva Paro Dharmo Vasudeva Paragatihi Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Dharmaha Prochida Kaitavotra Paramo Nirmat Saranam Satam Vedhyam Vastavam Atravastu Sivadam Tapatrayon Moolanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimva Parairisvaraha Sadhyo Hridi Avarudhyate Atra Kritibihi Susrushibihi Takshanat. Now, with Bhagavan's grace, we will continue from where we left off in our last session. We came up to Slokam number 17, Adhyayam 18, Skandham number 4. For this Slokam and the last few Slokangal we read and shared, and the few more Slokangal coming up, every Jantu it described. Different types of beings are there in this universe. How each one of them got their food from Mother Earth from Bhuma Devi, not the planet Earth, but Bhuma Devi. And how did they do it? For example, in the last Slokam, we say in Slokam 17, it's called the Gandharva Lokam. In Gandharva Lokam, Apsaras Strigal are there, Gandharvas there. So it is a world of music and dance. And Visvavasu is that's the calf, which means the yearning for that Visvavasu. It has got a meaning behind it. And Gandharva Vidyai they got. So when we say food, don't think only in terms of the physical food that we eat. Music is also food, as you know, right? Different arts and sculptures. So many Vidyaigal are there. Then Siddhigal we are going to see. Every one of them, different types of people, got basically what they wanted. Because, yeah, Kaman is a word that has been used by Bhuma Devi, talking to Prithu Maharaja in Slokam number 9. And she said, Kshiramayan Kaman is a word, that is a phrase that is there, you can refer. So whatever you desire, that is the milk that you get from Bhuma Devi. We saw in Slokam, I think 16, how people with, we call Asura and Rakshasa, etc., and they actually extracted liquor. Now, this does not mean some other world. This is basically in the world you and I live in. There are people who love to drink, isn't it? So that is a Rakshasic, Asuric tendency in them. Right? Some of them become violent, some of them become lazy and sleep away. So that's a different, but they all desire liquor and they get it. Like that, every Jantu, based upon their tendency, their characteristics, and the various gunangal associated with that, they yearn for something and they get it. So Bhuma Devi is truly a Kalpakataru. Whatever I desire, I can get it in this universe itself. It's as simple as that. Okay, so that is what we're going to see, Lokam after Lokam. So as we go through, there are aspects of all these within us, because I'm basically an embodiment of all these different tendencies. Okay, so when we say snake, for example, immediately you can think of snake, but you can also think of any the characteristics of a snake that is within me also, isn't it? This is what it is. So in terms of evolution, going from how I need to purify my mind as I go through different things I yearn. And through discipline, through tapas, through different yogic practices, I get a different types of awareness and I desire different things. Those are also granted by Bhudevi. Those are the things we're going to see slokam after slokam. With Swami's grace, I'll take it through purely from a Sanskrit language point of view, padam, and then we'll move on without going deeper into any of these. But if you want me to, you can always tell me, and I will be happy to do that. Number 18. Number 18, yeah. Now, what about Pitrulokam? See, Pitrukal also yearn, and what do they yearn? They yearn what is called a havis. Havis is what we offer in the Agni Kundam, or when you do Pintatarpanam, for example. And there is a Devadai for that. We saw that in the beginning of Sargam called Swadha. Swadha Namaha. Swadha Devi takes my offering and gives it to the various Pitrukal. So they also yearn for something. And that is what is described in this Slokam in 18. Vatsena Pitaraha Aryamna Kavyam Kshira Madhukshata Amapatre Mahabhagaha Sraddhaya Sraddha Devataha. Vatsena Pitaraha Aryamna Kavyam Kshira Madhukshata Amapatre Mahabhagaha Sraddhaya Sraddha Devataha. Vatsena Pitaror Yamna Kavyam Kshira Madhukshata Amapatre Mahabhagaha Sraddhaya Sraddha Devataha. Mahabhagaha. And Mahabhagaha, see, Bhaga means different ways you can look. They're also more effulgent than you and me, because they don't have they are in a state of much larger dimension of happiness and bliss, okay, as described in Taittiriya Upanishad. And so in that sense, they are actually fortunate. They are actually much happier than you and me, bound to this body. So they are also going through different sufferings or whatever. That is to do with the mind. That's another subject. Point is, their joy, their santosham, their anandam is multiple times more than what we can have in this while we live in this body. Okay, so in that sense, Mahabhagaha, very the fortunate ones. Sraddha Devataha Pitaraha, they are the Sraddha Devataigal. When we do Pitru Karyam, I worship them. They are Devataigal. Okay, in the Pitru Lokam they live. And so those Pitaraha, those my ancestors, not only my ancestors, there is also Karunya Pitrukal, which means, see, this is something very important to understand. So let me stop here for a second. So important and so vital, we forget. So I think I'm here because my parents gave me my body, so I'm living, and then my relations, grandparents, my uncles, aunts, and that's it. And that's all that I'm always thinking about. And sometimes even more limited than that. No, it's not true. Every jantukal, including a earthworm that I don't even see, works under the earth and grants me the food that I want. And if I live in a house and I go to the backyard and pluck a mango fruit from there, that mango tree was planted by somebody else, watered by somebody else. So everything I see, like we say, a DNA physically, that is physically from my parents, from the ancestors, the Gotham related and all that, that's physical. But the mental DNA, the one that Gunangal, the characteristics, that is evolving, for it to evolve, the body has been given. Every Jantu in this universe has contributed, sacrificed to it. This is Karunya Pitrukal, we call them. Please, if you're interested, do read a blog that I wrote with Swami's grace on this, called Mahale Paksham. The most important festival in our calendar, Mahale Paksham is most important. It's a function, it's a festival of celebrating gratitude and contentment. Tripyata, 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 we say. It's such an important festival, we forget it, most of us, okay? So I just mentioned it to you. So those Pitrulokam, okay, which you and I are going to go after leaving this body. So it's not like somewhere else, okay? So we are part of it. So those Sraddha Devataha Pitraha, they are Pitru Devataigal, they are so fortunate. And what do you do? Aryamna Vatsena, they have the Devata called Aryama. Aryama is a Devatai, and keeping the Devatai as the calf. See, remember, calf denotes yearning. Calf denotes hunger, and then because of the hunger, they approaches his mother. That's what the significance of calf is. Don't think in terms of physical things, so that we can relate to it. A calf is playing, and all of a sudden it becomes hungry, and it approaches the mother senses its hunger, and the milk secretes. Same way, if I, because of my Rakshasic tendencies, if I yearn for liquor, madhu, then I approach Bhuma Devi only, and I get what I want, okay? It's as simple as that. So, Pitrukal, Aryama the Devatai, Amapatre, in earthen pot, which is made of the clay, made out of wet mud. Okay, not just dry mud, but wet mud. Okay, Amapatre, Kavyam, for the homam, we offer the hafiz. Kshiram, that hafiz innum, the kshiram means milk, but the milk, the hafiz, it's the milk that is called hafiz, put it that way in English. Hafiz innum palai. Sraddhaya adukshata. The Pitrukal are waiting. When I do Tarpanam, the Sraddhai, they're waiting. Will you give me something? Okay, I'm yearning for it. So when I offer that, whether you do Pinda Tarpanam or Sraddha Homam or Tila Tarpanam, whatever we do, okay, and they accept it, looking for it with so much Sraddhai. Okay, so my duty is to perform. Very important in this body. That is the least I could do to express my gratitude and contentment. The absolute the least. So, Vatsena Pitaraha Aryamna Kavyam Kshira Madhukshata Amapatre Mahabhagaha Sraddhaya Sraddha Devataha. So they also get their food from Bhuma Devi, from Bhudevi, okay, from Prithvi. Prakalpya Vatsam Kapilam Siddhaha Sankalpa Namayim Siddhim Nabasi Vidyam Cha Ye Cha Vidyadharadayaha Gandharvalokam Pitrulokam, now Vidyadharalokam. Okay, another level where Jantukal are living, moving about in Bhagavan's creation. Okay, never think we are superior. Okay, please. We are superior. The topmost position among all creations have been given to us only because of Vivekam. I can use my buddhi and transcend all this and reach Bhagavan's lotus feet. That is the only reason the birth as a human being is considered the crown jewel of all the types of creations. Okay, now if I use my buddhi, that is. Otherwise, it is wasted, as Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita. Prakalpya vatsam kapilam siddhaha sankalpa namayim siddhim nabasi vidyam cha ye cha vidyadharadayaha. Simple padangal. So let me move on to the meaning. Vidyadhara adayaha. Vidyadharar mudaliya. The Vidyadharas and others in the Vidyadhara lokam. And who are the others? Echa Siddhaha, the other Siddhakal, like Vidyadharas. What did they do? Kapilam Vatsam Prakalpya. They kept Kapila as the calf. Now, what is the significance? We'll come to that in a minute, okay? Because we already had Kapila Upakyanam, so you can enjoy that. You can relate to it now. Let me come back to that. Okay? And Prakalpya. Sankalpa Namiyam Siddhim. Now, there are thing called Ashtasiddhigal. Okay, basically the manifestations of 8 types of power that comes from within. There are only 8 types. I mean, there are more than that, but the Ashtasiddhigal are this. But Bhagavan is superior, is beyond all this. So, at our level, for us to understand, for example, I can disappear, I can become very small, I can become very huge, or I can become extremely light like a feather, even lighter than a feather, and fly in the air, or I can become extremely heavy, okay? And I can appear, staying here, I can appear as very close to somebody, very far away. And saying close to somebody, I can appear as if I'm very far away. So many, these are the kind of things that we're talking of, and you've seen this in Sundarakantam, okay? Rakshasas also have this power, can be obtained by yogic exercises and tapas and all that, different stages, that's all, of different stages of manifestations of the Paramatma within, okay? Now, so using Kapila, the anima siddhigal, ashta siddhigal, and siddhim vidyam cha. Vidya means this is the power, the sakti that suddenly you disappear. All of a sudden, you are appearing, all of a sudden you disappear. Those kind of, and in the Nabasi means in the sky, all these various powers they could have, they extracted this. This also is like a food. This is what they earned, this is what they got. Kapila comes in because, remember, one of the 8 siddhigal is that you become so light you can literally fly. Not only fly on top of the earth, in the atmosphere, but really onto the space. Spatial travel, planet to planet, galaxy to galaxy. Okay, Hiranyakasipu did that. We also read before Kapila Upakyanam, and what did Kardama Prajapati do? Kardama Prajapati took his wife, Devahuti, after marriage, and had a palatial plane. Remember, he went all around the various planets, various lokangal, and showed everything to Devahuti. That was his immediate, what you call in today's language, honeymoon. Okay? And so that, the Kardama Prajapati had that. So his son Kapila is mentioned here in the form of that Siddhic powers, even though Kapila himself, as we saw, was Bhagavan's avataram, but in manifested as this. So they had all these various Siddhigal, in Vidyadhara Lokam, it is very common, people have these kind of powers. And This is what they extracted, means they got from Bhudevi. Okay. Again, Bhudevi does not mean planet Earth. It means the whole universe. The basically a creation. Please understand that. The next one, 20. The other way to look at it also in 19, this sitting on Mother Earth, if I think of Bhudevi as Mother Earth only, okay, as a globe, that is another way to enjoy that also. Right now, in this body, if I perform these yogic exercises, these tapas and all that, I will get these siddhigal, these powers to disappear, to become light, to become very heavy, to fly, so many things I can get through tapas. That is also obtained right on this planet Earth if I do the tapas, appropriate tapas and yogic exercises. Now, the lokam I live in at that time with those powers is Vidyadhara lokam. Okay, even though I may have this body, I have the powers of that is why you call as levitation, all these things that you all read about. Different yogigal can fly and become light and then come back, and people appearing in different places, All these are, even though they're in the same body, the body disappears here, appears another place. All these things are possible right here if I do the appropriate tapas and obtain this from the Siddhi power is obtainable. But the lokam I live in at the time is called Vidyadhara lokam. The same way, when I'm performing music, completely involved in singing Taraja Kruti, for example, and I forget myself in a different level of awareness I have, or a listener goes into a different level of awareness, that is Gandharva lokam. Okay, like that. Number 20. Anyecha mayinaha mayam antardhanat budhatmanam mayam prakalpya vatsamte duduhu dharana Now, in the Hindi word doodh, just occurred to me, sharing with you. Doodh for milk, it comes from this Sanskrit verb, duduhu, okay, something that is pal karakarde, something that is extracted, okay. It comes from there. So that is why the dugdham and all these things that we heard. Okay, dugdha, dugdham. Okay, the word comes from there. Anyecha mayinaha mayam antardhanat budhatmanam mayam prakalpya vatsamte duduhu dharanamayi. Now, we saw Vidyadhara lokam, then we saw the different lokangal there. Now, another lokam that comes in, that is described in Slokam 20. 1 second, I want to forget the name of that lokam. 1 minute. Hold on. Yeah, Kim Purusha lokam. That is what it is called. Yes. Thank you for waiting. This lokam is called Kim Purusha. You would have read that in Sundarakandam. Hanuman talks about it. Okay. And so this is the Kim Purusha lokam is like the Vidyadhara lokam, where people do fly around. They have different, I don't like to use the word mystical, because to me, mystic really doesn't mean anything. It's a misused, abused word. But something that defies your normal logic and rationality, okay, which is what we tend to believe. Something beyond that logic cannot explain. Several things can happen. So in this Kim Purusha lokam, what happens? Anyecha mayinaha mayam antardhanat budhatmanam mayam prakalpya vatsamte duduhu dharana mayim. Now, here, once you get the siddhic powers, which defy the intelligence, because intelligence says gravity has to attract, so I cannot fly. But with the siddhic power, you can. You see what I mean? So with those people, we call it as Maya Vihal. I don't use the word magicians or mystical, but the thing is, This defies that logic and normal rationality beyond the human ability to understand. So the moment I cross that mental limitation, okay, that I've set up upon myself, I'm including the intelligence, the power to understand, the power to reason, okay, the power to question. All these are part of, we saw earlier, is one aspect of mind, the antakaranam. Once I pass that, once I go beyond that and develop my consciousness and awareness, you go to a different level. Okay, that is beyond mind. So this Mayavi is the one that we call it here, not the Maya as illusion or delusion. No, these are real, but higher level of experiences and awareness in Kimpurusha Lokam, like Vidyadhara Lokam and all that. So here, Anyecha te Mayinaha, in this Kimpurusha Lokam, those entities, those beings with this power, Mayam Vatsam Prakalpya. Now they had Mayan. Now, see, you would have read in Mahabharatam how Arjuna in the Tataka, in the Dakshan thing, how Krishna and Arjuna allowed the Dakshas, the snake, the huge snake, to escape from the forest that was set on fire, and Mayavi comes. And when Arjuna is about to kill him, in that process, of course, Bhagavan does the Leela, so he allows that one snake to escape, even though all the others are killed in that forest. But only one snake, because it's got a job to do, to take care of, to finally end Parikshit's life later. That comes later, how it's all connected. But now when this Mayavi, and Arjuna is about to kill him, and he requests, no, please spare me. And Krishna says, okay, spare him. And then Arjuna says, okay, I'll spare you, but then in turn you have to build a huge, beautiful palace for me, for my brother, Yudhishthira. Okay, that's a famous palace, okay, where the Kauravas were all put to shame. Lots of palace of illusions and delusions, as we call it, and where they thought the wall was there, it's actually a mirror, etc., okay, the mirages and so many things. Now, Krishna Bhagavan tells Mayavi at that time very beautifully, showing the love of Bhagavan for the Pandavas. Immediately he says, yes, in that palace, you also establish a Simhasanam for Yudhishthira. Okay, I'm reminded of that story, so I'm sharing it with you. From that Kimpurusha Lokam, these Mayan, okay, using them as the calf, Antardhanat Budhatmanam. Okay, Antardhanat means to disappear. Buddha Atmanam, these kind of Saktigal and these abilities, all these, Dharanamayim Mayam, and whatever you want, make it appear, like what the Mayan did for Pandava's palace. It's illusion. This is not real creation. One real creation can be only done by Bhagavan. Satyam is the only one that can create, can sustain, and everything goes back and merges with Satyam. This is an illusionary power, okay, a mirage, okay, and that Antardhanat Budhatmanam, Dharanamayi Mayam, all these Duduhu, that Sakti that they extracted from the Bhudevi, the Prithvi. So this is the Kimpurusha Lokam. Then we covered the Siddha Lokangal, then Vidyadhara Lokangal, and then Pitru Lokam, Gandharva Lokam, and Asura Lokam, and Deva Lokam, all these, and also Rishigal, where the Vedam came. All these different Lokangal. Lokam means immediately it's not a planet out there at the universe somewhere in faraway galaxy. It is just a higher or a different, in the case of Asuras, it's a lower actually. It's a different level of awareness, different dimension of consciousness. Okay, do you understand? So all these Lokangal, we saw how Pitru Devi is supporting it. Whatever each one wants, he get it. Okay. Now we'll also cover a few more lokangal about the serpents and the snakes and stuff like that. Okay, they also need things from Bhudevi and how they're also fed. And then we'll continue with the one slokam at a time after this. Today the time is up. We've got 7 minutes. Maybe I can take one more. Yeah. So next one, 21, talks about the Yakshargal, Rakshasargal, who crave for flesh and blood. Okay. And that is what they obtained. So even today, you and I know very well people who are walking around in human bodies, or jantukal who walk around in what we call as animal bodies, how they crave for flesh of other bodies, and how some of them uh, crave for blood, and that is also obtained. They also get that from Prithvi, from Bhudevi. Okay, that's the next slokam 21. We'll take it up tomorrow with Swami's grace. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om.